We love hip hop.
Marcellus Williams executed. I keep on seeing posts about this gentleman here. And let me just pull this up on the screen so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Salute to Real Toronto News, where I got the story from. But that's not the only place I got the story from. I've seen a lot of people posting about this. So Marcellus Williams has been executed today despite victims' families urging to spare his life. The final statement was made public. All praises be to Allah in every situation. Okay. That was his last statement. Missouri has executed Marcellus Khalifa Williams despite serious doubts about the integrity of his conviction. Our hearts are with Marcellus and his loved ones. These are just some of the responses that people have been getting. This is courtesy of Big Nasty. The fact that the USA is about to execute an innocent citizen they know is innocent, the DA now says is innocent, the evidence proves he is innocent, should get enough for everyone to tear the system down, or should be enough for everyone to tear the system down. Marcellus Williams could be any of us. Marcellus Williams is all of us. Well said. Just to find out about the Marcellus Williams, case. From what I've seen so far, there's no way that there's enough evidence against him to warrant the death penalty. When it comes to the death penalty, there should be absolutely zero doubt in someone when someone is guilty. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of stuff coming from this. Let me see if I can pull up a news story on this, because this is definitely something that I feel like a lot of people are placing importance on. And I feel like anytime there's an important issue, like this hip hop shit is whatever, it's cool. But I like to get into some of these important issues here. Let's go on YouTube. I'm wondering now, like, should they bring the death penalty over here to Canada? Because if you convict the wrong person, or if your person's wrongly convicted. Let's see here.
And in just the last hour, Missouri executed a death row inmate named Marcellus Williams by lethal injection. Now, Williams was put to death over the 1998 murder of newspaper reporter Felicia Gale, and the execution coming hours after the U.S. Supreme Court denied a stay of execution, just a day after the state's governor and the Supreme Court both denied clemency to Williams as well. And all this after a prosecutor from the original trial said Williams was innocent, claiming no evidence actually tied him to the crime. Williams is...
Y'all see the thumbnail with 5 and stuff. Like, this man was facing first-degree murder. And he's home now. Okay, his charges were stayed. But imagine if you get hit with first-degree murder in some of these states where the death penalty is a thing. Jesus Christ. Hold on, let me ask y'all a quick question in the chat here. Before we continue the video, should Canada have I'm going to do some adjustments here because I can't write death here. Penalty. All right, comment gang strong. Let's get y'all opinions on this.
His execution was one of 5 scheduled in the course of a week across the country. The first one being Freddie Owens in South Carolina this past Friday. NBC's Yasmin Vasukian has been following.
This guy did 5 executions between September 20th to September 26th. That's crazy. These guys are just murking people in jail one by one.
This story. Yasmin, can you tell us the latest here?
That's right, Gotti. The third in Missouri this year, the 100th execution.
All in Missouri? Yo, Missouri be murking.
in the state since executions were reinstated back in 1989. 5, by the way, in this week alone across the country. We're talking about Missouri, in which Mr. Williams was executed just a couple of hours ago by lethal injection.
My bad.
Alabama as well, Oklahoma, South Carolina.
My bad. I thought it was all in Missouri. I was about to say, holy shit, man. What's your problem?
Texas. The timing of it all, right? You ask, why are all 5 of these executions happening in this week alone, is really just happenstance in the decision-making process by some of these kind of state Supreme Courts. I will say, though, the argument that was being made by Mr. Williams's attorneys to the Supreme Court to, in fact, stay this execution was waiting to a decision till a decision was made by a similar case as they saw it that was going to be argued in front of the U.S. Supreme Court on October 9th. A statement that was made by the Innocence Project saying this, and I quote, "This closely resembles that of Richard Glossop, who remains on death row in Oklahoma because the state court similarly refused to accept the state's confession of error." If you remember, just yesterday, the state Supreme Court in Missouri essentially did not accept the prosecuting office's admission of possible error in Mr.
So the prosecutor said that they might have an error and they still killed him? Let me rewind that. What do you mean by that?
Possible error in Mr. Williams's case, hence why.
Say it again.
Of possible error in Mr. Williams's case, hence why we are here today. Mr. Williams losing his life to execution by lethal injection just a couple of hours ago amidst a huge week of executions happening, Gotti, across this country.
Thanks for watching.
That is crazy. So they still weren't completely sure of what they should do, and they still murked this guy? See, this is why the death penalty could be an issue, obviously. Because you have to be sure, okay, before you convict somebody, i.e. top 5. Top 5 is home right now. The Crown had to make sure that she had all of the evidence so that without a reasonable doubt, that person is guilty of the crime. And if so, then they'll be punished accordingly. Right? Over here in Canada, you'll get life in prison. Over there in Missouri, your ass is getting murked. They're giving you the lethal injection.
Tonight, a Missouri man has been executed by the state, but Missouri Governor Mike Parsons stepped in this year and ordered the execution to move forward. Now, that was despite prosecutors, Williams's family, and even the family of A.W.O.L pleading to spare Williams's life. Now, that did not happen.
That is insane. Even the family of the deceased is like, nah. Don't kill him. Have mercy. Right? And listen, I'm not trying to cop any pleas for anybody who's murdered anybody. Okay? If a man is guilty, a man is guilty. He has to do his time. But when these guys are out here murking people, this is why there's always debates on whether there should be a death penalty in whatever respected state that the person is living in. I ask in Canada because I think that if Canada was to have a death penalty, it would be a federal law rather than a provincial law. But Jesus, Murphy, that might make you think twice about going to murk somebody, low key. If you know that somebody can just, like the end of your trial and means the end of your life. Kiss my teeth out. What up? Jesus.
And tonight,
that's some crucial shit.
A last-ditch appeal to the Supreme Court was rejected with the 6-3 vote falling along ideological lines. A devout practicing Muslim, Williams' last words were, "All praise be to Allah in every situation." The man's last meal, chicken wings and tater tots.
Jeez.
And at 7:01 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, Marcellus Williams was given the lethal injection of the sedative pentobarbital, and 9 minutes later, he was pronounced dead.
Oh, she's
See the white sheet that's pulled up to his neck, moved his head slightly.
Okay, this is a little bit too graphic to be talking about on YouTube. We're not a news station. Like those parts specifically. Yeah, they did this dude dirty. Wow. Hold on, I'm getting an attachment here. Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at a link here. Listen, man, R.I.P. Is this the woman that he murked?
The state of Missouri will carry out the execution of death row inmate Marcellus Williams tomorrow night, a last notice before the state's high court.
To the United States Supreme Court. Marcellus Williams has maintained his innocence. He was convicted of the 1998 murder of former St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter Felicia Gale. Investigators said Gale was stabbed 43 times inside her University City home. Prosecutors argued Williams stole a laptop and other items. A lack of DNA evidence raised doubts. A board of inquiry established by then-Governor Eric Greitens was tasked with examining the case, but was dissolved under current Governor Mike Parson.
Jesus, Murphy. So she got stabbed up 47 times, but they didn't find no DNA evidence in the spot. You know how much DNA is probably mixing and being put around from a stabbing? And listen, I'm not trying to, if he's guilty, but it's not, the math ain't mathing.
Prompting an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court that Williams was denied due process. On Monday, attorneys for Williams argued before the Missouri Supreme Court that the prosecutor at trial struck a juror because they were black.
He said the quiet part out loud. He admitted that there was actually a racial component here, and that is unconstitutional.
Williams' attorneys say previous court rulings came before this latest revelation.
When
y'all remember the Central Park 5? They said that they R-worded a white woman in Central Park in New York City. Okay.
The trial prosecutor
Emmett Till
was subjected to cross-examination, he admitted unequivocally that he struck a juror in part because he was a young black man with glasses.
Let me correct some things.
Quick, fast. Young Money says the system doesn't care about the truth. That's a whole fact.
The prosecutor was not cross-examined. He was their witness. He was examined on this point on direct.
An attorney for the state argued there's not enough evidence to delay the execution and that the prosecutor's words were taken out of context.
What did he say when asked directly, did you strike someone partially, was part of your reason for striking someone because he was black? He said, no, absolutely not.
St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell, who was not the prosecutor at the time of Williams' conviction, has raised questions not only about the conviction, but also about his guilt.
Man, R.I.P. Marcellus Williams, man. This is just another example of they don't give a F about us, B. And just another example of maybe the death penalty isn't the best idea. Because somebody could be doing life, right? They're there for 25 years. Let's say they get 2 life sentences. So, and they'll do it concurrently or consecutively, I mean. So 50 years. And then 20 years into that life sentence, that person is able to get the legal education that they need or get the legal advisory that they need to be able to retry the case. Do an appeal, and then they touch road in 20 years because they find out that all the evidence was insurmountable and there was a technicality maybe or something where they're just like, you know what? I think we made a mistake here. So then what? That person touches road. Charges dropped. They could potentially sue the system. All right? But if they go murk that person now, we'll never get a chance to know that. So as far as the death penalty being a good idea, I could understand, yes, we have to punish people who murder people. Okay, if you take somebody's life, you should be punished. But when it comes to that life for a life thing, I think it starts to get into a barbaric territory, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe that's just the liberal part of my mind going off right now. But if you don't have the proper legal advisory to be able to help you through a murder case where at the end of that tunnel, you are also going to be murdered, then the chances that you're going to win that case is going to be super slim. And at the end of that day, when the trial's finished and your dump truck lawyer doesn't help you out, guess what happens? Lethal injection. So I don't know if like the state should be able to make that decision, to be honest, in my opinion. I'm going to go through this poll one more time here. Should Canada have the death penalty? Only 33% of y'all said yes, and 67% of y'all says no. But at 33%, y'all ain't playing. So take them out of here. Take out the trash.
We love hip hop.